Graham, you were adamant on Saturday night that Labor would get there, and they did.
And they did, yeah. Well, I have picked a few winners over the course of the years. I did have a little heart flutter a couple of times because I think I had hoped that Labor would win by a bit more than what they've done. I mean, a win is a win, I know, and in the history books that's probably all that people remember. But the aficionados, those who know about politics, will look at this swing and say, not really good enough. Labor should have done a little bit better. And so it's an election that both sides, if they are looking at how they construct their arguments, they can both come out with some positives. That having been said, I think Scott Morrison would have been more than happy with the result, and Anthony Albanese walks away with a grin, because winners are grinners, so everyone won. I'm wondering who lost.
That's a fair point. And in terms of the campaign itself, though, back in 2019, there was the review done, a lot of criticisms of the way that Labor campaign was run. Not so much this time. It seemed like a very efficient postal campaign, a very sharp operation, Richo.
Yeah, I think probably in Eden-Monaro in the past, Labor has been behind the game on postal votes. And I think they put in a very big effort on postal votes this time. And just as well, because that's, in the end, what will get them over the line. Sometimes, you know, look, I mean, Labor's always regarded as the better campaigners. But I think on postal votes, in some electorates, we let ourselves down. And it's very important that you really work hard on the postal votes, because in tight contests, they're the ones that count.
The PM has obviously got strong political instincts, but this time, this electoral cycle seems like much more of a fair match, is it fair to say, not just with Anthony Albanese, but his Chief of Staff, for our viewers who aren't aware, Tim Gartrell, who oversaw the Kevin 07 campaign. He's as the National Secretary, he's now Chief of Staff to Albanese, but Gartrell is a very experienced hand at running effective campaigns, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a brilliant young man. And when you combine brilliance with experience, you always come out with a very, very good outcome. And this bloke's very, very good for Labor. Gartrell's a star. I hope we look after him with a spot at some point too.
Now, are there lessons, you mentioned earlier in terms of some of the problems for Labor with swings in the traditional Labor supporting areas, I guess, like Queanbeyan. We discussed this on Saturday night, that blue-collar vote. What does Anthony Albanese have to look at in terms of the response to this, and what are the key lessons to win not just Eden-Monaro but a general election?
Well, I don't think you can, I mean, I know this disappoints people, this response, but I doubt you can read too much into Eden-Monaro as some guide to the federal election and say there were clear lessons to be learned. Given the result, both sides, as I said, can construct arguments to suggest that they had a good result. So I think it's difficult to base it on this. But Labor's always got the problem of maintaining its working class base and then trying to pick off some in the middle. Now, I think Labor's policies are just about right on this. We got rid of the hopeless policies that we had at the last election. Going to an election with 2 new taxes was so dumb, I just can't believe we ever did it. But those days are gone. Albo's not that stupid. We will do nothing like that again. And so Labor is well and truly in the hunt. And that's all that matters to me. There's got to be a contest, and there's going to be. You can bet on that.
One of the Labor frontbenchers just finally, Richo, earlier in the day said to me that just in broad terms, we won't be making the next election about us. It's going to be about them. And is that central to the lessons learnt from the last episode?
Yeah, well, I think if the Labor Party becomes the issue in a campaign, it's finished. And they know that. Now, it couldn't be helped last time in the sense that the policies that Labor had already adopted were disastrous. They haven't got any disastrous policies this time, thank God. So I'd say that things are looking up. Labor can go into the next campaign knowing that they're a totally united force. And that's not something Labor's always been able to claim. But I can tell you this time, there's no discordant voice. Everyone is on board here. They're all pushing in the same direction. They're all on the same wagon.
Well, Richo, John Barilaro owes you a lunch because he said the Liberals are winning and you said no. So I look forward to hearing about that lunch when it happens.
It'll be spectacular. Mind you, half of Australia seem to be inviting themselves to it, so it's going to finish up costing him a fortune.
Oh, that's good. Thanks, Richo. Talk to you soon.